camera style videos for two types of occasion. When I own the DVD of a certain movie that I'll be talking about, or if it's a vlog of a new horror movie or a TV show that was just released. But today we will be taking a look at the classic Dracula. Now, do I even need to explain why this movie is so good? Pretty much everybody knows about this version of Dracula. Bela Lugosi was the man who helped shape both the image and voice of Dracula. So whenever somebody is doing a Dracula impression, they'll always do the Bela Lugosi impression. You never see someone do a Christopher Lee impression when they interpret Dracula. They always have his Hungarian accent. That wasn't just a voice that Bela Lugosi made up for the movie. That was how he actually talked. And you can see that in some of his other movies, like The Raven. He's not the first person to play Dracula. I mean, we covered Nosferatu a couple days ago, but he's definitely the most iconic and the quintessential person you associate with the role. Plus, he's so good in the role, especially with those eyes, those hypnotizing eyes. He's just, scary. Speaking of scary, the film actually is one of the first sound horror movies ever made, and one of the first sound movies in general. And since it was one of the first, they didn't really think to add any music. This was just 6 years after Phantom of the Opera. It's funny on how sudden the change in sound movies would be, because only 2 years later, King Kong would come out with an amazing score, where there's not a quiet moment in the film, like, at all. But I think that the lack of music actually helps Dracula, and it establishes mood very well. Plus, the black and white makes it look all nice and creepy. Speaking of all nice and creepy, let's talk about Renfield. Renfield is just absolutely insane, loyal to his man Dracula. It's awesome. I love Renfield. He's amazing. And Van Helsing actually does pretty good. He's confident in the fact that there's a vampire around when, well, most people probably don't believe him. The actor does Van Helsing, and that's actually really good. And he's the only actor from this movie to return in the sequel, Dracula's Daughter, unless you count the still image of Lugosi. But not to say that Bela Lugosi never reprised his role of Dracula. He did do it in a couple short films where he met Betty Boop, but he wouldn't reprise his role in a full movie till 1948's Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. And just 8 years after the film's release, he would tragically die, and he ended up getting buried in the Dracula Cape, showing the fact that he truly is the greatest Dracula. And just 2 years later, a new Dracula movie would come out starring Christopher Lee as the Bat in the Cape, what I like to called Horror of Dracula, and he became the new face for Dracula. Dracula had fangs, he had blood, and sexually harassed women. Dawn of a new age of horror movies. New Dracula. But Bela Lugosi will still overshadow Christopher Lee as the definitive Dracula. And how this, not being the first, and definitely not being the last, will always be the definitive Dracula movie. And thus, another tale of the House of Terror has come to a close.